I'm Iris Muller. I'm a certified rehabilitation counselor and a proud mom of 2 children, one of whom has quadriplegic cerebral palsy and is nonverbal.
And I'm Alma Schneider, a licensed clinical social worker and the proud mom of 4 children, one of whom has Prader-Willi syndrome.
In this podcast, we discuss the uncensored truth about raising kids with disabilities.
Prepare to laugh, cry, and hopefully learn something new. This is Two Moms, No Fluff.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Two Moms, No Fluff. I'm here with my friend Alma Schneider, the cool Alma Schneider, and I am
cool.
Iris Muller.
She's saying cool because I got a cartilage pierce. Now we were talking about it.
Yes, very cool, very painful, and I would never dare do something like that. But Alma is in a different level of style and coolness altogether.
And stupidity.
No.
It hurt.
Anyway, I want to welcome all of our guests and people that have been with us from the very beginning of this podcast. And for those of you who are joining us today for the very first time, thank you. And Alma, would you like to introduce the topic?
It would be my pleasure. Today we are talking about, as always, a very important topic, meaningful gifts. And we're going to be talking about gifts that cost money, but also gifts that do not cost money. Because as we all know, we can be very stretched when we have additional needs, and we need to watch our wallets. So Iris, you want to begin with some of your suggestions?
Yes, I think that as the holiday season approaches, we're all kind of are faced with the same challenge of buying gifts to the people that we love and care about. And sometimes when you have someone who has additional needs, it's kind of tricky to know what exactly to buy and how that thing can really be useful or nice for them to receive. So one item that I want to mention, and I'll let you expand on it later on, Alma, because I know you can, is to buy something that is a decorative item. And then this can be a nice addition both to a room of a child with a disability, but also something nice for the caregiver, that when they walk into the room of the child with a disability, they remember you and the fact that you got them that item and that you care. And this is something that brings into the room the positive energy that you put into it while choosing the gift. And Alma, I know you have a way to make this gift even cost-free. So I'll let you talk about how to do that.
Well, you can always ask your friends about stuff that I have many things to say on that.
I know.
You can ask your friends if they have anything that they're giving away that they don't want. You can go on, many states now have something called Curb Alert, where people are giving, they post on a Facebook page what they're giving away for free, and people can get them for free. I give a lot to that site, and I also take stuff from that site. And you can also get it very inexpensively at thrift shops or yard sales. One of my very favorite pastimes that my son actually likes to accompany me to, which I love. It's one of our activities together on the weekend. And there's always a way to get something that is pretty or meaningful that is very low cost. Are you going to continue, or should I jump in?
I can continue. I can move on to another category. And then staying in the bedroom, I want to say that for many of us that have kids with disabilities, bedding is something that we go through quite a lot. We need a lot of bedding changes. And while maybe other families can change their sheets like every 3 days or maybe even a week, sometimes our kids...
What was that? If you could see my face right now, I'm like, boy, every 3 days? Boy, well, I won't tell you how often we change our sheets. Okay, go ahead.
TMI alert.
Both are on both ends.
So back to our kids with disabilities. For example, with my daughter, we have a lot of issues with sweating in the bed. And the reason being is that she wants to be covered with like 100 blankets, because only when she's super hot, then her muscles relax a bit and a little bit of the spasticity kind of goes away. So she sleeps under this mountain of blankets, but then she sweats horribly. And people don't usually like to move her during the night while she's calm, but then she starts being uncomfortable, obviously, because she's so hot. And the process repeats. So we have a lot of laundry. And I can tell you that if you wash sheets on a daily basis, they just go bad very fast. And getting like good breathable cotton sheets is not an easy or cheap process. So if you have the ability to replenish a family's sheet collection for the child with the special needs, that would be very much appreciated, especially families that have bedwetting challenges or mobility issues, because I can tell you that some of the process of turning and rolling someone in bed that is not, rolling or turning independently, also tears sheets apart, because you're kind of like pulling against maybe the natural way that you would gently roll with your with your bed sheets. So this is something that our family is always in need of, and is always greatly appreciated.
And I want to add to that that older sheets are definitely, vintage sheets from a long time ago are much better quality than sheets that you buy today. So yet another perk of going to yard sales and thrift shops is that you can often find really good durable cotton sheets that have been washed many times already, and so they're soft, but they're a lot thicker than the sheets that are made today. So that's something to be in the market for. So along that theme of saving money, and and I also want to add that I have 4 kids, so it's not just having a child with a disability. When if you have multiple kids, it can get very costly. All gift giving times. So it's I'm always shopping at yard sales and thrift shops throughout the year, and I think we've mentioned this in other episodes. But to go through through the year, and you may not have that much space in your home, but find a space, because it'll save you money to pick out gifts throughout the year that are on sale or that are free, or that somebody gives you and you just store it and hide it so your kids can't find it. But that's another strategy throughout the year to do for things that are of interest to your kids, that are meaningful. Some other items that I want to mention that are not things that are bought are having a drawing made for your child. If you have a friend who's a good artist, they can draw something that is of interest to your child, such as, let's say, a portrait of Lin-Manuel Miranda for Iris's daughter, who has a big crush on him. If somebody's a good artist, they can draw
A big
him.
crush is such an
It's an
understatement, Alma.
understatement. Yes, but whatever the child is interested in, have somebody draw that. So it's an original piece of art. And we all have friends who are good artists, whether it's their profession or not. So that's something that you can ask them to do as a gift. Any kind of artwork, it can be something of interest. There are outings that can be considered a meaningful gift. So to say that you're going to take the child to, on a hike, or to the mall, or to a movie, something that we love, that my son's friend, they do it with each other for their birthdays, is that we make a card, and I've mentioned this in other episodes, but they put a bunch of options and they check off what kind of dinner they want, what kind of, like, which restaurant they want food from, or homemade food, like, do you want Chinese food, do you want Indian food, and check it off as an option. Do you want to watch a movie, or do you want to do karaoke? Check that off. And what do you want to do, an art project, or do you want to do jewelry making or something like that, and they check that off. So one in each category. So the kids have so much fun making that choice. It's a totally free evening. And the best perk is that it's the parent, they're going to be at that person's house, hopefully, or that person will come to your house and the parents can get a night out. So we always coordinate it with when we want to go out and do something. So they're being watched. Knitting something. We all have friends who are good knitters or can crochet or do needlepoint. So same kind of thing. Whether someone in your family or someone outside of your family can make something, a slogan that the kids like a statement, something that's like, where Karen sits, that's the head of the table. Like my father loved that statement, where Schneider sits, that's the head of the table. For whatever reason, he loved that statement, and he had my calligraphy skilled sister calligraphy it, and we had it everywhere. He would give it as gifts. So something that the kid always says that's funny, or that something that they always repeat, could be something posted in the room. So I have a lot more, but I'll let Iris
yeah, I can, after this suggestion, I can see our family getting tons of, sorry, I wasn't listening. I was thinking about Lin-Manuel Miranda, which is what my doctor says every 5 seconds. But anyway, back to gift ideas. One thing that we already mentioned in previous episodes that many kids with disabilities really enjoy and benefit from is being in water, in the pool. And that is something that, for example, for kids that have mobility impairments, if they're floating in the pool with their friends, it equals the playing field. For a lot of kids with sensory issues, water is really calming and relaxing. So I want to say that using that knowledge for a gift idea can be really great. First of all, a really cost-effective way to mention someone's birthday and to celebrate their birthday is to invite them to the pool with you. And all you need to do is bring one cupcake and a balloon with you. And ta-da, it's a birthday party. And it's not very expensive, and you can do it. And it's a lot of attention and fun time. And you take a few pictures, and then you have a good memory from that celebration. If this is not an option for you, you can always give the family tickets to go to the public swimming pool, or if I have to mention, we had Alma's friend once invite us in the middle of the pandemic to use their private pool. And I won't mention names, but this really saved our sanity for the 5 months that we were in New Jersey in the pandemic. And this is something that if you have access to a private club, a private pool, and you can share that with the family of a child, that would be amazing and a very, very memorable and meaningful gift. And of course, using the pool comes with its own set of equipment that children do need and use. We all need towels all the time, and those towels go through quite often, sometimes goggles or pool toys. Those are all good gifts that can really be equally enjoyed by kids with disabilities or without alike.
Yeah, and something that I sense a theme here with both of us. It's really just thinking about the kid and what they're interested in, and then taking it from there. It's not just getting some random gift for a kid their age. It's really what makes it meaningful, whether it costs money or not, is really thinking about the child and thinking about what do they like, what do they care about, what will be something that I know will be fun for them because I've inquired. I've asked the parents. I've asked, a lot of people think, oh, it should be a surprise, I shouldn't talk to the parents. No, I mean, you can leave it as a surprise for the kid, but ask the parents, ask the caregivers, what are they interested in? What would be a meaningful gift? And then they will tell you, because they don't want a bunch of plastic garbage sitting around the house that they're going to have to either regift or, but sometimes that is a good thing, by the way. I'm just going to add that, regifting, because if it is a gift that is totally inappropriate for your kid or way, too advanced for them or not advanced enough, don't open that gift. Do not take that saran wrap, that wrapper off. You will save money by regifting that gift, but you didn't hear it from me. Because that's a way that will save you time, energy, and money in getting a gift for someone else's party that you need to go to. Okay. something that is near and dear to my heart is baking something for someone. If it can be something healthy, it could be something that is a treat, but even writing out their name in cookies, and getting cookie cutters, and you don't have to buy them. Everybody's got cookie cutters in your community. And in our library, I think I've mentioned this in a previous episode, the library in our neighboring town has a huge selection of bakeware and cupcake molds and cake molds for trains, for hearts, for Star Wars characters, that they lend out at the library. So I don't know if your library where you're listening has this, but in our town it does, in the town of Bloomfield, and it's incredible. You can take out these items so you don't have to buy them, because how often do you actually use them? Not very often, so you don't want to buy them. So you can bake something, you can cook the kid's favorite dish, you can do it a couple of times and say, once I did for a friend of mine, for I think 3 Wednesdays, I made her dinner. So that's something that, doesn't cost much money at all. And it's, I made things that she liked, that she could eat. And again, this is the kind of gift where it kind of, it allows the parents to have a little bit of rest time if someone is making dinner for your child, or dessert or something like that. Making a video, something that my son has actually been doing for us. I don't know how he got this idea, but he has a cell phone, or had one, and he contacted friends and family of the person whose birthday it was, and he had them send in a little video clip just from their phone, things that they loved about that person. And he was able to, with assistance sometimes, and sometimes without any assistance, he was able to put it all together to make a video for the birthday person. And I have to tell you, I have been the recipient of one of those gifts myself, and it is an incredibly meaningful gift that costs nothing. It's just time. And it's a beautiful way that the kid is going to have this forever. Maybe when they're feeling lousy about themselves, their self-esteem has plummeted, or they had a bad day at school, you can play that. So it is truly the gift that keeps on giving. And you can do that with a card as well. You can have people, this is a little bit more labor intensive, but you can have people write something, or by hand, or send it in to you on the computer, and you can put it all together and make a little book out of it for the person, with either drawings or statements about the person. So
awesome. I think that experiences in general are good gifts, and we spoke a little bit about that. I want to mention that sometimes just maybe spending 15 minutes on a phone call with the child that you wouldn't normally have the energy, the time, or attention span to spend on the phone with. I know my daughter communicates with an eye gaze device, and mostly kids her age do not have the patience, no matter how funny the punchline is, to wait for 10 minutes until she types the whole thing. So letter by letter with her eyes. So dedicating the time and attention sometimes is priceless, and is more than any gift that our children need or want. But experience can, of course, be things that we purchase for money. Let's say tickets to a Broadway show, or go along the lines of a walk in the park, or a friend who loves to run, who would take your kid to a tiny race and race with your child because you're lazy and don't want to do it yourself. But it's an experience, and then they sometimes get a t-shirt at the end, and that's great, and something that is especially special, because if the child cannot do that with their parents, they very much appreciate doing that with someone else's parent. So right. Cool things like that are always welcomed and appreciated. And I want to say that a lot of time, really the key is to just ping the parents and ask. As Alma mentioned earlier, it's not a hidden fact from our eyes as parents that it's hard to purchase things for our children. It's not, we won't be kind of frowning upon you asking for advice. We understand. Yeah. It's really challenging for us sometimes to even know what can possibly be doable or feasible for a child. But putting the children aside, there are situations where the child themselves cannot appreciate or pay attention to the gift, and in those situations I really do encourage you to still celebrate the birthday and to maybe give something for the main caregivers, for the parents. And this can be again something that is free of charge, like you making them a meal, or you paying for a service to deliver a meal, or help with. My sister used to love me coming over and helping her clear her basement. Like the rest of the house, she loved cleaning by herself, but the basement was a different story. So if you have a friend like that that has like a point or something that they need help with, you can jump in and help, or you can call a cleaning company and have that come to their house. Those are little things that really make a world of a difference. If you're kind of struggling in your own day-to-day life and someone sends you a guardian angel that would do the dishes and the laundry for you on that one birthday day, that is extremely special, I tell you.
Yeah, that's a great gift. You gonna come over and do that for me, Iris?
I would love to. You know, I have an obsession with cleaning and organizing.
I know. I wish I did. Um, Another thing that I think is a great gift is a plant cutting. So if you have, I have a lot of plants that have meaning for me because either someone gave them to me or I had them around the time. I have one plant that is so old that my sister gave me, and it's meaningful just because it was around when people who have passed away were around. So making a cutting from a plant, propagating it, which means just sticking it in water so that roots grow, and then putting it in soil, that's a really meaningful gift. It's like a part of something of yours that you can give a child, and with a little story and an explanation. You don't just want to give the plant; you want to explain why it's meaningful, because that goes a long way. Also, along those lines of a plant cutting, are sourdough starter, so that someone can continue making bread from a starter that many people have used, and some starters are over like 100 years old that people share. That's a meaningful gift in my mind, because then you can take it and you can continue using it and make bread with the child, with that starter on an ongoing basis. And it can be a ritual that you do, or just, something that you do when you're every once a week, or you do it on the holidays. It's just something that could be meaningful. And one more thing along those lines that might be very specific to my family is kombucha starter. It's called, I forget the name of there's a specific name for the starter, but it's,
The
my
mother.
son, the mother is for the sourdough.
Mm.
That's the mother starter, but there's God, I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's kombucha starter, and my son happens to love kombucha. It does take work to keep it going, but you can continue to make kombucha on an ongoing basis with the starter. So these are things that are just, they're basically sharing things of your own, but that you have this bond because of the starter. So I just think
Yeah.
that that's kind of meaningful.
Yeah, that's meaningful and cool and useful. I think all of those items that are basically consumable are always a good gift. And in our life, there are some things that are not consumable, but by the virtue of how we use them, they become consumable. For example, my daughter paints by holding either a brush or a marker or a stylus in her mouth. And in order to protect her teeth, we put a special type of how do you call it, like a pencil grip on top of the marker or stylus, and she bites through them in basically no time. But each one of those pencil grips costs more than $1, but we go through a package in a week. So it's just if someone would give us a bouquet of pencil grips like that, we'll be so thrilled because it's so useful and so
Pencil grapes? I'm sorry.
Pencil grip. It's meant to be something that helps with manual dexterity to hold the pencil in the right way for kids with, I guess, manual dexterity challenges. But in our daughter's case, just because it's made of a kind of a firm rubber, then when she holds it in her mouth, it keeps the pencil or the marker more stable, and it protects her teeth a little bit than kind of directly biting on a metal or a plastic marker, whatever it is. So basically things like that. We use a lot of finger paint tubes because it's hard for her to paint with other things, but we need large quantities and large surfaces to paint with. Ask the parents what is the item that they use a lot of, and what can be a good kind of resource. If you get, like, I don't know, a yearly supply of bubble soap for a child, that's great. You save the parents a lot of time and money by buying it ahead of time, and this is I think a good gift.
Guess what came to my mind? The disgusting, mucusy looking kombucha starter. And it came to my mind what it's called, a SCOBY. And it stands for something, I don't know what, but it's called a SCOBY. Okay, so now I can sleep tonight because I figured out those two things out. Can you see how red my face is because I'm having a hot flash? No.
Oh, no, I can't.
On YouTube. Okay, well, that's all I have for today.
Same here.
Are we set? Okay, we got this done. Now I can drink some ice water for this flash.
Or kombucha.
Or kombucha that I have to make. It was lovely seeing you as always, Iris. And thank you everyone for listening in. Let us know your ideas for meaningful gifts, please, in the comments or on our Facebook page, Two Moms No Fluff. And we'll see you next time.
For more information, please go to www.twomomsnofluff.com. Thank you.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe and give it a 5-star rating so more people can hear it. Thank you.